Hey, good morning to everybody. A happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and early, 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, so there's 1 week to go before Thanksgiving. I know it's crazy. Time goes by so quick. I know we all say that, but it seems to go by quicker and quicker all the time. All right, this has occurred to me, and I'm sure it occurred to you already. Political conversations at the Thanksgiving table. This just popped up in my head in the last few days, and I'm already starting to cringe. You know, in this last election, there was more Biden voters than Trump supporters, but I don't know how it's going to seem to work out. That there's going to be a lot of Biden bashing, I think, going on at Thanksgiving Day tables. I started thinking about what I was going to hear and how to deal with it. On one hand, you could sit there and argue and pull out the phone and try to, your talking points during the Thanksgiving Day meal, and that doesn't sound very appetizing or good for family relations. And I don't like the alternative of just sitting there with a silly grin on my face, and just listening to them with ridiculous accusations about CRT. And like I told you guys, one of my closest family members talked to another older family member. And I have a cousin that's a teacher in Texas. And for whatever reason, I think he just wanted to look like he's fighting a good battle. Because he told my family, he told people in my family that, he's not going to go along with this. He's going to fight it tooth and nail. This teaching this stuff to this CRT, these kids, that's what he's telling the rest of the family. So my family member tells me they're teaching terrible things to children, and I try to tell her, I said, no, they're not, they're really not. This is not being taught in schools. And you see across all these red states passing laws to prevent something that doesn't exist. Passing laws that we'll never have them teaching CRT in our elementary schools, our junior high schools, and it's not being taught. Never has. No plans to have it taught in the future. But they're passing laws, just like the voter. There was no voter fraud. I mean, I think it's been proven. The allegations, everything's been debunked over and over and over, and recounts and more recounts by the actual people that thought there was election fraud. No election fraud. But it doesn't stop them from actually passing legislation as if there was voter fraud. It's just crazy. It's a disheartening world sometimes when you look at this. So I thought about this, and I like I said, I've already cringed thinking about this. So what I might hear, the first thing that popped into my head, Biden and his poopy pants. Or sleepy Joe Biden, or oh God, what are some of the other ones that have come up lately? And I just can't see myself arguing. What do you do? I just I don't really have an answer for it yet. The one thing I did come up with that I think is a weakness in the Republican and Trump supporter party is that, just recently Donald Trump sat down with Mike Lindell. Now, Mike Lindell is a certified wingnut. I think, at least among the Trump supporters and Republicans in my family, the people I know, they don't think very highly of Mike Lindell. I think that's only the farthest fringe. And, he sat down with Mike Lindell, Donald Trump. And this is the thing, he sat down in a full tuxedo. And it struck me, as soon as I saw this, I swear to God, I thought Trump looked like some kind of blackjack dealer. And then I saw an article actually mentioned that. I think it was Raw Story, actually mentioned that he looked like he worked in a casino, like some casino employee. So he sits down with Mike Lindell, and I think this is a weakness, something to swing back at this Thanksgiving Day. That Trump doesn't seem to have any interest in anything else that's going on, the supply chain issues, because we know, this is we're all going to hear this on Thanksgiving Day. It's Biden's fault. The gas prices are up, even though the president has nothing to do with gas prices. They'll talk about the pipeline, even though the oil pipeline was sending it out of the country, and it wasn't even our gas that was going. The pipeline the pipeline that Joe shut down. The inflation, even though it's supply and demand and the result of the whole pandemic. But we're still going to hear this. And the one thing that occurred to me is that Trump doesn't show any interest in any of this. It's just, I think the weakness here is he just keeps repeating, I think even deep down, even Trump supporters are sick and tired of hearing him whine endlessly about how he really won and very bad things went on. His latest line when he sat down with Mike Lindell was, there was more votes than voters. And he just kind of broadly, even though these things are debunked, and it doesn't stop him. And he just makes this broad statement every time, very bad things, the worst things in the history of the country. And I think this is what I think, it's got to be crystal clear, even to people that support him, that he doesn't have answers right now. And you know what? And even worse than that, he's not even concerned about these things. He's not concerned about inflation. He's not concerned about reworking the supply chain. So this kind of backup doesn't happen again. He has no answers for any of this. The only thing that Donald Trump is concerned about is crying and whining now. For how many months has it been? It's been over a year now. 12 months, 365 days of just continually whining about he lost and he was cheated. And I really, even though they won't admit it, I think this is just, it's got to wear on anybody's nerves. It's getting to the point, even if somebody really was cheated, most people wouldn't just keep complaining about it. They would move on. If somebody breaks in your house and steals your beloved pet dog, you're going to complain about it for a couple of weeks, but then you're going to let it go. You're going to move on. Donald Trump has no intention of moving on. I could see for the next year, all the way up to 2022, 2024, this is all he's going to talk about. And this is what I think is going to sink his ship eventually. As I sat here thinking about how I'm going to weather this Thanksgiving Day meal with my family giggling about Biden's poopy pants and Sleepy Joe and it's all his fault and all this stuff, I was thinking what else I could talk about. And sour grapes Trump, the sore loser Trump, I think is I could see it deflate their balloon deflate. So I'm going to keep working on this because I think you can't argue with somebody. You can't argue with people that don't have a moral objection to violence, like with the Rittenhouse thing. You can't argue with people that are willing to ignore reality. With everything that's going on these days. So I think the only option is to plant seeds, to have them look into themselves. Let them know that they're being, like I told one of my family members, when she said that they're teaching terrible things to children, I said, it's not the children that are being brainwashed. I said, it's you that's being brainwashed. Just look it up, just check into what I'm saying. And because these people just go right back to Fox News and it just gets reinforced over and over again. So that their family, they don't even believe their family members that they're being, when I tell them they're being brainwashed. But I think one of the weaknesses is this never-ending crying with Donald Trump about losing. I think that's going to be his downfall, and I'm planning on sharpening up that barb for Thanksgiving Day meal. I'm going to talk more about this before Thanksgiving. You guys have a great Thursday. I'll be back later with another video.